CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
Welcome back to CalazCon once again. Today we're recording the epilogue for the 86. The final time we'll be joining our dismounted pilots in this campaign. As always, we're sponsored by the generosity of Imris. And if you'd like to support the show financially and you haven't done so already, please go to patreon.com/CalazCon. My name's Hadrian. I've been the GM. Today I'm just sitting back and letting the players do their thing. My pronouns are he, him. And you can find my stuff on the internet at nowonewillnotice.com. And as always, I'm joined by Christine.
Hey, I'm Christine Blight. I am playing Dani Hart, the empath. You can find me online at CVBlight at gmail.com if you got any voice acting work. I'm very poor, please. And yeah.
August.
Hi, I'm August Orion. I am a black game designer. You can find my work at yuri.r.itch.io and deviantwarlock.itch.io. I'm playing Hex.
Used to be a soldier. Might not be anymore. We'll find out. Aviator.
Hi, I'm Aviator, and my pronouns are she, her, and I have been playing Basil Killian, whose pronouns are also she, her, who's been the technician. You can find me if you follow your heart's guiding key.
Right on. And who's this? Chad.
Hey, I'm Chad Eldridge. You can also find me over at nowonewillnotice.com. And I'm playing the squad's envoy, Misty Avalanche, pronouns he, him.
Or Anti-Phantom, as we all refer to him.
Anti-Phantom.
That thing we said all of the time.
Many people are saying this. I want to say it's very interesting that, Hadrian, I can't believe you forgot the name of somebody who's sitting, like, literally across the room from you.
I do it pretty frequently.
Speaking of names, we should mention Basil. Basil actually changed her call sign.
Oh, I thought we were going to get over that with the epilogue.
I mean, we should just say that right now at the top, because it's not that big. It's just we never said it.
Oh, yes. So I've changed my call. I've decided to, as part of the epilogue action, Twitch will be changing call signs from Twitch to Salvia, which is a different plant in the same family as Basil, because I'm never not on my bullshit.
Every time you say it, I just hear Salvia Divinorum, because I'm
contradiction voice. Have you heard of Salvia Divinorum?
Does this wine Aunt High mean anything to you?
Dear listener, you can buy Contradiction Spot the Liar from any place where games are sold, such as Steam.
Go get it at GOG.com. It's DRM free.
Give that guy some shout outs. Not many people making dedicated FMV games these days.
All right, and now we're getting into our epilogue. I'm going to go ahead and read the epilogue rules for the benefit of the audience who's not looking at this PDF right now. With the final mission behind you, it's time for your campaign's epilogue. There will be no dice rolled during this session. The group gets final say over how the story ends. Before we dive into the full epilogue, there's one last step. Hey, who did that?
I'm sorry.
One last roll.
Terrible roll.
2,
Hey, you
3,
got
2, 2, 5, 1. The last desperate great roll from Hex there. Before diving into the full epilogue, there's one last step, receiving some closure on the pilot's beliefs. The players get to ask questions as though they had completed their connection clock with every pilot. Each player may ask one question of every other pilot that is related to one of their beliefs with said pilot. These questions must be answered truthfully, and consider describing one final scene between each pair of pilots as they both get the answer to their question. So that'll be the first thing we go through here before we get started on telling our tales. For our first questions, does Dani have any questions for anyone?
Yeah. Wasn't thinking I'd go first. Mine's going to set a very certain tone.
Well, if we want to swap it up here.
No, that's cool.
Okay.
That's cool.
All right.
Unfortunately, I don't think that there's going to be any scenes necessarily. There might be in the future where they would see each other again, but as of the last mission, everyone's gone, right? So
Yeah, as a refresher, to set the scene after our final mission, as the smoke from the rubble of the Goliath falling is still settling on the city of Hestial, Dani is back at the subway base. Misty has disappeared into the smoke with his food truck Avi, cleverly disguised, making his escape. And Basel has a perfect AR copy walking around, making its way back to the base, while actual Basel and Hex have absconded in a stolen limousine.
Also, we effectively hollowed out the base. We took everything.
if you took my cigarettes, I'm going to find you and I'm going to murder you.
No, I left your cigarettes there.
You just walk in, it's the only thing sitting on the table in the main common room.
Slight French music starts playing in the background. See you never.
There might be a Dorito in a couch cushion or something.
So that's where we stand in the immediate aftermath of the final mission, which is where this question asking is going to take place.
So I'm just going to go down the line of my connections here. So I have Misty. I only have one belief with you because we leveled up, which is he reminds me of me. I have to get him out. So I think that the question Dani would have for him is, how badly do you miss the war?
Oh my god!
We are that is setting a tone.
Incredible. Incredible.
How much do you miss destabilizing economies?
I think with where Misty was at, Misty doesn't actually miss the war, but he finds it very hard to break out of the routines that he had set up and the walls that he had set up mentally around doing the job. So I think it's he keeps falling back into those and struggles a lot with kind of rehabilitating himself back into a normal life.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'll tell you what, let's bounce between, since you asked
right.
a question to Misty. Misty, first of all, do you have a question for Dani? Because we'll go ahead and knock that out at the same time.
So one of Misty's beliefs about Dani was, I can't let them see the real me. And I think Misty would want to know, after everything that happened, do you feel like you saw the real Misty, and what did you see through his persona, and what did you see?
I think what she saw that was outside of the persona reminded her a lot of someone in Arrested Development at 16. I think that Dani got the impression that you kept the real you locked up for so long that you never got a chance to blossom.
Yes, a real cloud strife, I would agree.
That was a shit post. That wasn't real. I didn't mean that. But I guess I was right.
She did really like what she saw, though, when bits of you leaked out.
All right. And Misty, did you have a question for any other pilot?
I think Misty would definitely have a question for Basel. So one of Misty's beliefs with Basel was a return to the simple life seems naive.
May I have a request of you?
Mm-hmm.
Can I pitch you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Which is this last question here. She has a better chance than me. I hope she makes it.
Mm-hmm.
But please, if you have a better idea, please go with it.
That wasn't a question.
Yeah.
Well, it's a belief.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I think that they kind of like lined up a little bit, so I kind of went with this one because I think it would give probably similar answers maybe. So the question is, does Basel believe she can't go back to the life that she had before becoming a soldier, and why she abandoned that goal, or seemed to abandon that goal in Misty's?
I think that Basel knows that she could leave. She could walk away. She has all of the groundwork to just do that. Unfortunately, I believe that Basel has realized that walking away is not a permanent state anymore. You know, the war came to a place that she was living peacefully before, and it could do so again. You know, she's kind of realized that I think she's going to do what she can, and then maybe later she'll walk away. But not right now.
Basel. Any questions from Basel for the other pilots? Or specifically, if you have one for Misty, let's do that first.
Oh, yeah. My one belief with Misty is you're too good for this outfit. Why are you really here? And I guess for Misty, my question is, what are you going to do now? Which, you know, can be, you could say, tune in to my epilogue.
The epilogue more hints at what is to come, but I mean, Misty's main goal is to
blow up and act like he don't know nobody.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Yeah, while taking a certain person along with them.
You were supposed to just agree with me saying that.
Why not?
I mean,
You're right.
What else is there to say, dog?
I guess to be more clear, Misty knows that he can't let go of everything just yet. He feels very strongly about fulfilling the request that Dani made. And so he plans on staying in kind of his envoy mode until that's done. And then that's when he plans on kind of officially hiding away and retiring.
Congratulations. The one of us who escaped.
Basel, do you have questions for any of the other pilots?
I have a question for Dani. And I have to think. I'm thinking on the sort of theme of these two beliefs I have, which are, you're blowing this joint, do you want help? And if your superiors can read your mind, it's time for some advanced lying. And I think the question that I have for Dani is, if you could call on me for help, would you do it?
Yes, I would call for help, if I could. If I feel like I could use you.
Damn, wow. Well, it's a good thing that there's a little note card in your pillow.
Okay.
I can't believe you left her a pillow.
We left bed sheets.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna like make you sleep on a bare mattress. That's so mean.
Also, they're not clean. It's got your face stuff all over it. It's
Dani trolls. Yeah.
Fucking same.
She on that Hawk Mimi game.
She's on that. On that what? Sorry.
Honk shoe me.
Oh,
Okay. Or does Hex have a question for anybody?
Hex is leaving with the only person that he has any strong feelings about. Is the problem there?
That seems like a you problem.
You know, hate's a strong feeling.
I don't. Unfortunately, I do think I have a statement. The thing is, I think the truth is Hex cared more about the shitty situation Dani was in vis-a-vis Zach more than they cared about her actually. So
Rip in peace. Oof.
that's resolved. So
Well, question stands. Does Dani have questions about any beliefs with Hex?
I do. I'm trying to figure out a way of wording this.
oh my god. Hit me. Let's go.
Let's go,
Okay, so
bestie.
First of all, what's the belief that this will relate
The
to?
belief is deserter. They'll do it again.
Well,
So when are you going to desert Basil?
is that your fucking question?
I mean, that's what Dani
This is
thinks. when
Dani's
she-
question.
No. Basel is a person who is willing to put her money where her mouth is. And you don't find many of those around.
Basil off to the side, just tugging her collar.
I got one for Basil.
Dani for Basil, yes.
So my two beliefs on Basil are she's going to make trouble for us, and I got to watch my six. So what would you have done if Dani wasn't on your side in getting out? What if she got in your way?
The joke answer is don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. The real answer is Basil would have gotten real good at advanced lying.
That's written right there on the sheet. Now we'll move on to stage 2. Each player then says what happens to their pilot after the final mission, along with any NPCs that are important to their character. If multiple players feel an NPC is vital to their character, narrative control should be shared by discussing potential endings and what feels most true to the established fiction. If a pilot isn't sure about how to describe their final scenes or epilogue, use downtime activities as inspiration. If we do that, there won't be any dice rolled. The player just decides whether or not their project is completed and whether the scene fades as they continue their work on it. All right, and the way we're going to do this for our recording is we are going to go around the table. The first question I'm going to ask everybody, just to get our baseline set up before things really start moving around here. Oh, actually, I skipped over one step. Before we do that, let's examine everyone's drives and how many drive clocks are available to everybody, so we'll know our potentialities for this epilogue. And once again, we'll just start left to right. Dani, could you tell me what your drive is?
Yep, my drive is to shut down Sunspot, and I have one drive clock.
Okay. So we know now that unless 3 drive clocks are spent, Sunspot will continue their operations. Basil, what is your drive?
My drive is to reopen Killian's cars in a safe place.
And Basil has 2 full drive clocks. And with that drive, we know that if 2 clocks are not spent, then Killian's cars will not reopen. Hex, what is your drive?
Hex's drive is to start a mercenary squad so that it can live outside of powerful nation states. And I have 2 drives.
Hex also has 2 full drive clocks, and it would take expending 2 drive clocks to make that drive come true. All right. And Misty, what is your drive?
My drive is to just disappear.
Simple, to the point. You have 1 drive clock, correct?
Do I have 1 or 2? Because I think...
Dog,
have one.
you
Oh my
got to
God.
tell me.
Oh my god.
You have one drive clock, Chad.
And it's going to take 2 to disappear. Okay. Now that we've got that all established, I'm going to ask everybody, just give me a brief description of what it's like in the days or weeks after Goliath falls, and what your character is up to in those moments. Dani.
I mean, look, Mama's taking some time off, okay?
Yeah. Starting with you, because you're the only one that technically has returned to base as ordered.
Yeah, well, it's stripped. I guess, I mean, like, look, she's getting high with Rex for a bit. Okay? Fucking doing some primal scream therapy.
Just orange Cheeto handprints smeared across the walls.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry how they got there. She's... I think she goes to check in on Zach at the hospital. He has been removed. And a couple days later, Dani gets removed. And they are both put into questioning for the death of Britta Martell. Is it Lieutenant Colonel?
Lieutenant Colonel Bria Martell, yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel Britta Martell. They're both cleared. Well, Dani's cleared.
Yeah, Dani's cleared very quickly. It takes a little longer, but Zach will not be prosecuted for this murder.
When she gets back, she's going to go into assessing what tools she has to her momentarily. She knows she has Rex on her side. She's interested in hearing about I guess siblings that he mentioned in the last mission. I think her first step is to try to acquire allies who are directly impacted by any super science programs, because they have the most clear motivation for wanting to shut it down. I don't think everyone has the same experiences as Dani. I think not everyone she talks to is interested in shutting them down, and I don't think that everyone she talks to is willing to stick their neck out to get them shut down, which is fair. She sends a couple of letters to Scattered Static and does not hear back from him.
At this point, is Dani spending her drive clock on anything? I ask that at the same time that I ask, what's Misty doing?
Why, yes, Dani is spending her drive clock for something. And that is, as per our terms of agreement in a secret dealing we made to get rid of Zach, I am spending my drive clock for Misty to get out cleanly, since Misty spent his to take down Zach.
Misty gave away so many drive clocks.
Hero.
It was 2.
That's a lot.
Hero.
It's less
That's
than
enough
few.
to change a life.
We'll never forget your sacrifice, Misty.
Your sacrifice of still getting everything you wanted.
So brave. Oh, gosh.
Guy crying at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3.
For what Misty was doing in the week following, I'm going to read excerpts from an intelligence report trying to track down members. Day 2, 3:40 a.m. White male seen exiting popular body pillow shop in Artist Alley, carrying a shirtless white male wearing leather pants on his back. Eyewitnesses could only describe the carrier as white male wearing too many layers, quote. Day 3, 9:56 a.m. A food Avi is spotted amongst the other vendor vehicles with a logo abbreviation of FOOD and selling space dogs, quote, which we understand to just be hot dogs. Proprietors,
Out of this world.
Proprietors appear to be a white male in ridiculously tall chef's hat, quote.
Yes.
And another white male wearing only jorts and an apron.
Yes.
Hot dogs were reported to be surprisingly affordable and oddly, quote, spicy. Day 6, 3:02 p.m., FOOD is spotted loading for extraction with a group of vendor RVs. Pilot could not be identified, but their hand was seen while trying to pull a shirtless man in overalls back into the cab. Overalled man was hanging out of the cab, waving a cutlass, yelling, quote, "Woo, let's kick this pig."
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Means, woo! Let's kick this pig.
I still don't understand.
Still don't know what that means. It doesn't explain anything.
That's what I mean. That's what
it's really
that's what
obvious.
it means.
You're kicking the pig,
Yeah.
you know?
No, no.
Does this conclude the transcription of the week after of Misty sightings? Basel, you've got a fine AR decoy walking around what's left in the base. What is it? What is that thing? I imagine it as a teeny tiny little like spider drone with a hologram projector on it.
I thought of it as what if a lozenge was just floating around, like upright?
Yes.
The other option is, of course, it's like a mobile emitter from Star Trek, but it's probably like a floating lozenge, and it projects outwards in all directions. And
a perfect copy of Basel Killian.
Yeah, projects a perfect hard-light copy of Basel Killian. It's got sound generators in there to simulate the sound of like movement, digestion, flatulence, etc.
All the important.
Just get stuck on the farting routine.
Notable, you did not mention speech.
Got him.
It can also talk in Basil's voice. I think it may be a perfect copy, but it's very, very obvious after not too long.
It's not a proxy. So
yeah, this copy does not eat. It does not sleep, or it pretends to sleep, but it basically just goes in the room and then shuts off the emitter.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's but it's
I was gonna say it goes into the room, lays down, and when the lights are off, that's when you can tell it's fucking glowing.
Yeah,
dark.
But it
Basil
lasts.
sometimes does some research with uranium. She just has a glow to her.
God, I hope not.
working on that food truck, it was.
That's why the hot dogs are spicy.
Oh no! I can't believe you're fucking dosing everybody with _uranium. Yeah, it's just been running Basel subroutine Basel _.ttk, and it lasted for just long enough.
Good. Now, what's the real Basel doing out there in the world, being AWOL until you can execute your further plans?
Basel and Hex is obviously still with Hex, and they have been sort of consolidating all of the material that they have liberated from the 86, and they are prepping it to be moved off planet.
We're not prepping it to be moved off planet.
Okay, I guess we're not prepping it to be moved off planet. My editor says that's not what's happening.
Doing an inventory at least.
Basil leaves planet and realizes she forgot something and came back.
Anytime Basil goes back to the 86 base to get something she forgot, she walks behind the AR decoy in perfect step in the shadow.
Oh, I was just gonna say
it's truly like it happens once, and then Hex is like, "You have to stop. You truly have to stop that."
somebody just sees Basil leaving the room carrying like a toolbox or something. Like, hey, bye. 5 seconds later, AR decoy walks in the other door.
Carrying a toolbox.
Carrying a toolbox. Is Hex doing anything other than described?
I think they're doing a lot more bureaucratic work right now. It's a lot of talking with I'm forgetting their name, the character we introduced at the end who's with me.
That would be Samori Jade, who's a former member of the Chameleon Rangers. Yep.
Yeah, his crew and the former 86 supports have just a lot of images of them talking, pointing at papers, trying to figure something out, and it's not 100% clear what they're doing. They're preparing for something.
All right, that gives us a glimpse into the immediate aftermath. We're going to expand the time frame now. We go back around. Let's start with Misty this time. I want to hear what's going on, that wacky boyfriend, in a longer time frame after this. Maybe a year or so.
2 more excerpts from the report.
Okay.
12:52 a.m. local, Vicario Station. White male seen boarding a shuttle to Malaria Station en route to the Outer Systems. Man was dressed in leather pants, quote, pirate frills, and wearing an eye patch. During repeated questioning, they insisted, quote, I'm not wearing a disguise, this is my Tuesday outfit. See Investigator Notes number 1. No other person of note was seen. We were able to determine after much probing, one local security guard remembered seeing a nondescript man standing nearby, fidgeting with an old-fashioned lighter. He did not get on the shuttle. Investigator Notes number 1. It was, in fact, Wednesday. 9:23 a.m. Local Vermilion Broadcasting Superstation. Fire started on the east side of the main broadcasting sector. Combustion source reported by station sensors was determined to be butane, rarely used on the station. Fire suppression proved difficult due to an unknown substance which seemed to stick fast to non-organic materials. During post-analysis of the remaining camera footage, an unknown individual was soon after spotted entering the inner facilities. Shortly after, a different unidentified individual was briefly spotted leaving the facility amongst the maintenance teams fleeing the fire-damaged areas. You are undoubtedly already aware of the devastating information on Sunspot, which was broadcast from the station during the following day. That's all.
I think that brings us to Dani. What's Dani's year after look like?
So I think Dani has been making some waves. So Sunspot is going to continue. I don't have the drive clocks for it. I spent them on changing my drive to destroying Sunspot and getting rid of Zach as a threat. But I don't know. I kind of don't see this as Dani's ending. So that's fine. She still has work to do. So she's going to... I feel like she has been making it very clear she is going to be very vocally against Sunspot and similar programs. The DFS has a choice in this. They can, well, I guess there's a secret third choice of getting rid of Dani. They have the choice of either they can be known as a victim of Sunspot and similar organizations. They were not aware the damage that it did and the power that it held, or they can be complicit in it. Dani is perfectly happy telling either story. And I think that the information about Sunspot leaking, I think that that means that they can only save face. They can't cover it up. So Dani has switched back to being a PR officer, cleaning up the image of the DFS, like trying to lobby against Sunspot and similar such programs. I mean, the 86 has been dissolved post-Hestial. There is simply not enough or any staff to support it.
The 86 itself as an organization lived only as long as Operation Cromwell. And Operation Cromwell came to a close alongside CalazCon.
Yeah. So I think, I like to think that Dani and Rex have a very good working relationship, and he is now her handler. She's worked in like specialized missions before. He's still her direct supervisor, but he is fully able and willing to work with her.
That's true. He is on board with this cause for sure.
In terms of Zach, I think he was still DFS, working in a lower position in admin, post-interrogation and post-power stripping. But I think after the Sunspot leak, he has gone AWOL.
Depower to Zach Richardson out in the wild. I will say I'm going to be a little self-indulgent here. In that year, you do meet Rex's siblings. He's got two sisters, two big ladies, classic Hadrian characters.
Yay! And are they single?
Asking for a friend.
The players control their own epilogues.
I'll post the fan fiction later.
All right. Anything more to add to Dani's first year after?
Not the first year. No.
Okay. How about Basel or Salvia?
That's so true. Hello. So
I guess we should do the thing now.
Oh, yes. My drive, Basil's drive, was to reopen Killian's Cars, which has since been abandoned. And according to note here, Hex's drive was also to start an independent mercenary squad, and we've decided that both of these drives were too small-minded. And in fact, what we are going to be doing is we are going to combine our drives together.
That's 4 drive clocks, changing the world.
4 drive clocks, yes. And we're going to work towards the slow dissolution of the DFS into factional conflicts surrounding the creation and use of super soldier programs due to our experiences with the people in the 86.
The 86, the
and
Goliath.
The Goliath, etc., etc.
I think a lot of those early weeks, sorry, I'm also doing my thing now, ours are just kind of attached, who could say why, is spent on setting the ground for it. I think they end up burning. I don't think they had many contacts or assets in Exodon, but they had a few, namely Darcy Damore, and a couple of very useful bugs Hex left in Spencer Holliday's whole system when I hacked his live stream. And what we do with them is, I'm not going to say we ruined their career, because I don't think those characters were important to both of us enough that we should have a full say on it. But they definitely take a big hit as, like, we take a lot of money for them. We start using Darcy to, like, spin up a lot of talk within Exodon space, and that because I suspect that faction is full of people who would refer to themselves as media mavens, and
yeah, you're not
a
wrong.
lot of that pull ends up being a lot of what Darcy's pull is being used to, like, start a lot of very inflammatory conversation about quote unquote super soldier programs, and that, because of those people, leaks out into the other factions. We're also, unfortunately, spreading a lot of misinformation about the death of Brie Martell. Zach was cleared, but there are a lot of people saying this is just a cover-up, and he did that. That's just sort of the beginning of it. Hex and Basel, what we're spinning our drive clocks on, we're not really... I think if we're being honest, it's not a thing that's going to happen in, like, a year. That's like this
is a long-term, big
process.
Picture. Yeah. This Darcy thing, is this just feeding him information using Basil's charismatic sway over him?
I think it's part of that, and also, like, Hex, I think through Basel makes him form, like, a company or something that's, like, it's a shell. The only thing it does is, like, rapidly spam out, like, all kinds of, like, mostly true but sometimes a little fake information about, like, any of these programs Hex could have, like, learned about during their time in the DFS.
Starting up fuckallsuperscientists.com.
Hey King, do you want to do me a good favor and just open up a little shell company for us? We've got a new thing going, and I think you'd be really interested.
I gotta say, I appreciate the running theme of Basel getting people to start LLCs.
But the for their part, their, like, direct part of this effort is they're starting a squad, the Wild Hunt, which its whole purpose is to investigate and hunt down any program or research into technologies that could spin up into monstrosities like Goliath or Sunspot or similar things.
That's for later. I just want my generic space tie-dye space background here for now.
Hell yeah.
So we got people leaving the planet. Well, that covers everyone's first year or so after CalazCon. Let's go back around for another round and expand the scope again. In an even broader time frame, what's Misty doing?
So the last two pieces of the report, which come 2 or 3 years afterwards, is 2:59 a.m. local Vicario Station. Male seen wearing, quote, unseasonable heavy layers and going by the alias of Jalapeno Solomon.
I don't understand how that's an alias.
See investigator notes number 2. Seen boarding...
That's clearly his Christian name.
Seen boarding a shuttle...
Many people calling him Jalapeno.
Seen boarding a shuttle to Malari Station en route to the Outer Systems. Investigator note number 2. We found that Jalapeno Solomon was an obscure Calazar character who was a bike messenger and spy, only surviving 2 episodes. This alias is believed to have previously been used by Misty Avalanche during the Cromwell operation. Investigation team final report. All further information is shaky at best. A report of a man buying a large amount of supplies and bragging about how his cabin won't feel so empty much longer. Several reports of an overly enthusiastic male couple at various arcades and bounce facilities throughout the outer sector.
Bounce facilities?
I'm sorry.
Wow, I can't believe you
They're not all
having
just
a
trampolines.
Oh, is that what they're calling it these days?
They got future. They're space trampolines now.
That's right.
Listen, we don't judge.
Locals in the sector were much less cooperative with our investigation, and we could not pinpoint a potential planet for further investigation. That's the last information about anything related to Misty Avalanche.
Got his cabin in the woods with his boyfriend on a planet with ample arcades and bounce facilities.
A true utopia.
Living the dream.
You can't see it, but I'm winking aggressively.
As we all take that in, I have concocted a small picture here of Misty standing on the front porch of his cabin in the woods.
A little disappointed that you didn't put in Blackfriar shirtless, shotgun and some beers, but
I only have so much time.
We can use our imagination.
I thought about requesting that, but I don't think there was time.
Okay, I've got Blackfriar's headshot I can put here, but I don't have.
He's just peeking through the window.
I have been lightly getting into watching Small House shit. I am so glad what you did was literally go like, let me look up the real actual equivalent to the lesbian sci-fi cottage.
Cottagecore Misty.
Mm-hmm.
Anti-Phantom isn't so empty now.
I should hope so.
All right. Well, we got one happy ending there. Allegedly.
I'm kind of emotional. I'm glad that he's happy. I'm glad that he gets to live on his planet of bounce houses and like adequate sex.
Oh my god, you can't even say good sex.
Destroying this man's whole career.
Arrested Development at 16, it makes sense.
I just mean, I feel like Blackfire can put it down. That's all I'm saying. I just think, I don't care about this man, but I just think it's better than that.
Hold on, I'm adding that to the NPC doc.
Okay, you're right. He can sling it. We know this to be true. It's canon.
All right.
Adequate doesn't mean bad. It just means it's good. It's what you need.
All right. And we're going to swing the camera away from Bouncy Castle Planet. And tell me what Dani's doing in the years after.
Okay, I feel like it's time for the Dani picture I drew.
The what? Oh, the Dani. Oh, okay.
The picture.
Yeah. Okay.
The one thing I submitted.
No, I thought you said it's time for Dani to betray you.
That's what I thought too.
It's like, what is it?
Yeah, Dani reveals your location.
Extremely impressive illustration Christine has made of Dani here.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Image of Dani, a few years older, taking a smoke break out, probably in a parking lot. Honestly,
yeah. With the marble wall, this looks like a parking garage of like a government building or something.
Yeah, looking off, annoyed to her left. Yeah. I think Dani, like, change takes time, especially if you're trying to do it through lobbying. And I feel like she is making progress, small progress. But it's still, she's getting her face out there. She's getting her cause out there. She's still employed by the DFS. I think she had an opportunity to have a clean break, to be free, which is what she wanted. But she's now working towards something that she wants to work towards for the first time in her life. And she needs to do this. I don't want to talk about Zach, but I kind of feel like I have to. I feel like, I don't always feel like there is a happy ending with really codependent people, especially wrapped up how they are. I think she has, done her best to stay away and done her best to stay as an individual, and which has really helped with him not having psychic powers and able to get deep in her brain. But I really feel like she doesn't fully feel full and whole without him. It's kind of like when you're an addict. You're always going to miss it, even when it's destroying you. I also would like to say, despite getting the power of broadcast, she hasn't used it yet, which I think is also really hard when you have the power to make people do what you want and you're trying to make real political change in a very uncaring world. But she chooses each day not to use it. I also have something a little off, a little bit from left field that I kept like adding it and removing it from the epilogue, but I'm gonna say it. Dani has a kid. She always wanted a family her entire life. She threw away for her extended family. And when she was with Zach, it was not safe or healthy to have a child. And also, she was terrified about what it would mean if she gave birth to a child with psychic powers. And they learned that they could breed psychics. So I think she did her best. I don't think having a kid was planned. And she did her best to hide it. And when she couldn't hide it anymore, she said that she adopted him. Except it looks pretty much like a carbon copy of her.
The curly red hair, sheer coincidence.
Listen, Batman does it all the time.
Yeah.
This is just what happens when you have plenty of adequate sex.
Yeah.
God damn it. Are you implying that Misty got pregnant too?
Got pregnant.
There's nothing in the
real.
There's nothing in the reports about
future,
that.
let it happen.
Pregnant.
Pregante.
I think she tries to be a good mother. I feel like the fight that she is in it takes her away from always being the mother that she wants to be, but it's important to her that her kid, Cade, grows up in a world where he doesn't have to worry about this sort of thing as much as she did.
Can I ask one question? Retirement age, part-time babysitter, Rex Nevermore.
Oh yeah, he's showing up to pick her up with the kid slung onto his front in a baby carrier.
It's comical. This child looks like a necklace.
Yeah.
Look, he might be the father, honestly. None of my business.
Whoa. There's nothing in the reports about it.
That's honestly much better than what I was thinking. So,
Well, he's adopted, so.
Of course.
It's none of her business who the father is.
Of course.
Okay. Are there any specific scenes of Dani in action you wanna get to?
I don't have any specific scenes, but I feel like she hates every minute that she has to do fucking PR again.
Again, folks,
But
if you're not watching the video,
her
this illustration really getting it across.
Imagine, God, I was talking about this image earlier today. If you've seen the meme of the Incredibles dad, but it's dark and artifacted and bad looking, it's like that, but what if someone knew what art was? But of Dani.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter to her as much that she hates her job, because her job isn't her entire life anymore.
And as a millennial, can you ask for anything else?
I mean...
Yes. Yes.
So true.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Looking into the mic, yes, you can.
Well, that covers the next several years of Dani. How about Basel?
Hello. So, we've started the Wild Hunt. And I think a thing that is happening is that Basel and Hex do not quite agree on methodology. During the previous downtime, they had a discussion about big picture versus little picture, big targets versus small targets. And Basel continues to follow through on thinking about and caring about the bagel shop around the corner, as she said, and pushes to have the Wild Hunt do missing persons work. And often through that accidentally stumbles into small time human experimentation operations. Nothing like Sunspot, but 10 guys in an alley who are trying to unlock the secret of human evolution or whatever the fuck,
Motherfuckers trying to make football players who run faster.
Yeah. And so Basel also continues to operate on foot, but
in response to Basel wanting to focus on the small image, Hex, he doesn't have any problem focusing on the small, but I think because of his daring streak and the fact that he's working with the Wild Hunt is something he created and cares about in a real way, he can't help but to lead the bigger operations that often end up being against the DFS to be grander, flashier than is necessary. Truly, it is only because of the strength of the support team they've built for themselves and the people who work for them. No major backlash is suffered, and no one is severely hurt in the first 2 years of real operation in the Wild Hunt.
You say in the first 2 years. Does something happen in the third?
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, we had 3 bullet points each, and we're just sort of condensing the first 2 into this first part, and then Basel continues to operate on foot, but she disagrees with Hex about staying that way. and develops the Horn, which is an acronym meaning hand over your ride now, which is a dynamic and universal mech hijacking tool to provide on-site heavy support as needed. I'm very proud of that acronym. Thank you very much.
It's very good.
It's very good. I was losing my shit. Speaking of bad things happening to people, Hex, unyielding in their distaste for pilots and the steel coffins they call mechs, is, after those early years, nearly destroyed. I don't mean that in like a euphemistic way. I mean that in like nearly dies, suffering from like a number of major injuries that I think like it brings a halt to the squad, because it's hard to have one of your two main people just what appears to be maybe will be bedridden for the rest of their life, as happens a lot in the Wild Hunt. Something Basel has done, has given Hex another chance, and I think like at that time it's like a couple of months where like people are like scheduled to keep an eye on Hex, and it's when someone is like doing inventory where he comes across a one of the prototypes for Horn. It was supposed to be it's a spike that's taller than Hex. It was meant to do some kind of like, it's still in the line of like the hijacking thing, but it was meant to like kind of, it had a little bit, listen, we all know how Basel is. Sometimes she uses stuff that is not great, and that includes a little bit of Psytech from Sunspot, and it was just supposed to like compel the pilot to eject.
What?
Instead,
seems
it
unethical.
never really worked.
Unethical? I've never heard of her.
And I think like Hex just starts like becomes like sort of obsessed with it and starts carving away at it like it's like whittling. It's a little inexplicable because any other person who tries to like use the same tools on it, it doesn't budge. The material breaks the tools. But eventually Hex carves a spear out of the spike, and as they hew away at it, their injuries begin to miraculously improve until he's able to join Basel back on the battlefield.
I'm sure there will be no issues from this.
No.
No.
It's totally fine when you cast of Amontillado yourself with a silver spike.
No, it's all upsides, really. It sounds to me like we're about to move into the final chapter for the Wild Hunt epilogue. Before we do that, is there anything more to add for Misty or Dani in your long term?
Fuck it. It's magical will. What if hear me out on this.
Oh, I'm listening.
Chadley, my friend. What if at some point Dani gets an invitation in the mail to to a random location? She goes to the coordinates, and there's more coordinates when she's there, and she follows the trail, and I get to visit your house, and we get to have like years later catch up and see how happy you are, and also take my kid to the bounce houses, which are for children.
I was thinking about saying that Misty probably saw Dani doing one of her PR things and checked up and saw that she had a kid and was very happy. So I think it's reasonable that Misty would have come up with a way to lead you there if you wanted to visit.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see each other again. See how happy we are.
This could be your future kid if you don't get into the war.
You know, Blackfriar can work a grill.
Mm-hmm. In his jorts and an apron.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Cowboy boots.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Booty jorts.
So we've gotten the 3-year overview. of what's going on with the Wild Hunt. Let's get a longer term look. I'd like to know the effects on the DFS overall.
At 5 years later, like the first news of, I think it's like a small solar system that is a part of the DFS, like all of these bulletins come out, it's seceding from the DFS on the grounds of that, like, they had been previously used as a testing grounds, and a lot of people had had their family members taken away from them as test subjects for various programs. I think it's called, like, the system itself is called Isfahan, and it's sort of just like, for a couple of weeks, it's the only thing anyone is talking about in DFS space. The, like, other big note is that, like, by the time it has died down, several other planets have been rumored to be already planning to also leave the DFS. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon, but there's a lot more talk and interest not being a part of this faction that has repeatedly failed its people.
The splintering of the DFS into those who are comfortable with the current course and those who prefer a more grounded approach to warfare and exploitation of the people, I guess. Because none of these factions in Beam Saber are going to be good guys. But it sounds like maybe they're a little bit better.
I do think some of it is, like, and the thing that I think that, like, you know, we do get a shot of Hex, like, seeing the news and, like, excitedly telling Basel about it, is that, like, some of these people some of these, like, large groups that are leaving aren't necessarily, like, are representing groups that aren't even necessarily interested in that point. Like, there's a lot of opportunists taking this chance, and some of them have far better intentions than the vast majority. Aviator, what's the last image of Basel?
The last image of Basel is a thing I wrote with you a few weeks ago. While refining the Horn and advocating for continued operations against small-scale or low-profile targets, Basel begins to see patterns in the noise and is spending a lot of time surrounded by data and corkboards and string, because there's something there. And I think that's we like the camera pulls out to show the vast data array that she is arranging.
The Pepicilia board on God, just unbelievable.
You said it. I was going to say it's Pepe Sylvia times 1,000.
Unsurprisingly, investigating technological disasters and hunting down their would-be harbingers takes up a lot of your life. Like, a lot of your life. There isn't a lot of time to just sit, but I think Hex manages to Hex manages to occasionally visit their grandparents. I think the, like, last image is a shot from inside of the grandparents' old cabin on Logel, kind of just outside of Hestial. And Hex is sitting on the porch reading a newspaper, and you can just distantly see two little grave markers.
Can we just end on the scene? Rex, 5 years older, still going to town on some Doritos?
Yes.
Well, I thought it was implied.
Well, I just need to know that he's happy and he's safe. And he is not giving any to Kate. He's too young.
See, Rex eating Doritos with the small child strapped to his chest, trying to reach for the Doritos, but...
Getting crumbs on his head.
Looney Tunes Iris out on Tortellini. He's way fatter now.
Tortellini.
Oh,
He's
perfect.
Totally ain't even living that life. All right, and so we wrap this chapter of the 86. Dani working tirelessly within the DFS to turn the tides against the people that would run Sunspot and programs like it. Misty living the life on his utopian planet of arcades and bouncy castles. And in the shadows, the wild hunt moves, nipping at the heels of the people that would exploit their citizens. We thank you all very deeply for listening to the adventures of the 86 and the rest of CalazCon. I hadn't really planned out the rest of this outro.
Sayonara, you weeaboo shits.
Perfect.
That is so true. Sayonara, you weeaboo shits. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited by ScienceBird. You can find them on Twitter as @Vetero. That's VETARO. Sound balancing for this episode was done by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at CVBlight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.